Good morning, Africans. So it's a second video in 2 days, so there must be something very interesting. But today I want to talk a little bit about ethics in coaching, but in professional space in general. So ethics are essentially a way of behaving yourself or the way of responding to some challenges that might affect your values. So recently I had an ethical challenge, and it made me start wondering how many coaches, how many consultants um, actually pay attention to ethical challenges. So I'll give you an example. Many of us as consultants or as coaches, we work for several organizations and sit on panels and are used. So what will you do if you get chosen or get selected by two organizations who both want to submit your name to the same organization? Two, what will you do if you come across a client that tells you in a coaching session or in a consulting session something negative that they want to do in relation to the company that hired you? To be a bit more clear about that, what will you do if you get told by a person you're coaching that they want to quit their organization and they want you to coach them to quit them? So these are the interesting challenges that come with ethics as a professional worker. And it is important to continue to pay attention. I see it on a couple of boards, and sometimes you get approached with some interesting offers, and sometimes you have to do very interesting decisions. You have to make very interesting decisions that relate practically to making the organization work. So what do you do? Well, it's not easy, I can tell you that. However, it's important to continue to pay attention. My rule of thumb all the time is if this story had to get out into the public, would I be able to defend it? Would I be proud to defend it? Do I have particular decisions? Do I have particular evidence and process and structure that will help me defend this decision? And that's essentially my measure. And that's the first thing. However, the second thing is essentially about your own value system, because essentially ethics decisions in terms of what is wrong or right practice, and our decisions about wrong or rightness is essentially determined by our value system. So from a value perspective, if we go back to the decision or the story about the coachee that wants you to coach them, most of the time what I would then do is determine, so who is my employer? Who, in this instance, who do I have a primary relationship with? Who do I have a secondary relationship with? And how do I then manage that? So my primary relationship all the time in my value system is this person that's sitting in front of me, not the person that's paying me. That's first of all where I come from. However, will I compromise my secondary decision maker as in terms of the first or the primary client? No. What I then think I do most of the time, what I then do most of the time is I get them to talk, because already that tells me there is an issue there, and I will leave it in the hands of my primary client to already start opening the conversation about this, or otherwise, and sometimes it happens, stand the risk of losing this client as well as the primary client. So I think that's essentially it. So tell me about you. What are some of the ethical challenges you've come across? And as a consultant or as a coach, how have you dealt with them? And what are your rules in terms of deciding whether to make a particular decision that is usually not so nice and black and white? How do you do it? Let us know. You can comment below in terms of the here where the video is, or you can reach me, Mongezi C. Makalima, on everywhere on social media, because this will be everywhere, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You can see I'm distracted, yeah? I'm seeing something on my screen. So let's talk. Tell me a little bit about, how do you deal as a consultant with ethical challenges? What were some of the most interesting challenges you've come across, and what are your general rules around how you work with ethics? Looking forward to hearing from you.